Has masculinity really gone off the rails? That's a good question. I feel like everybody has their own definition of what it means to be a man, what masculinity means. Like across all cultures, I feel like everybody has a definition of what their version of masculinity is. Like, what does it mean to be a man? I feel like that's the greatest controversial question nowadays in 2024 everybody's asking, right? But I noticed a common theme across most cultures, right? And most cultures and across all themes and across all influencers, the common themes are that, there's to be strong, protect, and provide, right? Those are like the common themes about masculinity, right? And I feel like masculinity, the topic, it's because there's so much information out there on everybody trying to get their 2 cents on what it is, masculinity is. You got the manosphere guys, you got guys like Andrew Tate, you got the woke mob trying to tell you something, and you got, all of these different voices trying to tell you what is masculinity, right? And I think it's something that you have to figure out for yourself as a man, right? And I think one of the perfect ways to describe masculinity is like the Rocky movies, right? Like the Rocky movies is like the perfect example of what I think true masculinity is, right? And before I get into why I think it's true masculinity, I just want to say, if you want to book a one-on-one coaching call, if you're looking to get in the best shape of your life, I'm the guy for that. I can help you with that. Hit the link in the description, tap in, hit these links in the description, because then again, masculinity, being strong, you want to be a strong man, get jacked, hit the link in the description, and I got you. But back to scheduled programming. I think the Rocky movies are a perfect example of like true masculinity, because masculinity, it's about protect, provide, be strong, right? And I think there's not enough emphasis on being strong, And what I like about Rocky is that Rocky was vulnerable, but he wasn't weak, right? There's a difference between vulnerability and being weak, right? See, the thing about Rocky is that he is a human, like they showed that he's a human being. We're all human beings. We all go through things. Life happens, right? You see throughout the trilogy, like his trainer dies, Apollo dies, he loses fights, he takes L's, right? But he doesn't stay down when he takes the L, right? It's about, he always gets back up, and he always gets back up and fight, right? It's about perseverance. It's a story about perseverance and facing your fears. And, like I said in the other video, right? It's like being a pregnant lady, except you have no choice but to deliver, right? Rocky had no choice but to deliver on the promises that he made himself, right? He had no choice but to keep getting up and fighting again, right? Until he won. You know what I mean? The point I'm trying to get with all this is that I think true masculinity is about acknowledging that, we are human. We're gonna go through things, right? No one's telling you to be like stoic. I feel no pain, right? But like, it's about being able to face, adversity head on, stare right in the face, and being able to persevere through it, right? No matter how you feel, you have to be able to persevere through it, right? Because that's what winners do, right? It's like, because Rocky always said, how hard, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. You see in the first fight with him and Apollo, he was getting beaten, he was getting hit, but he kept on getting up. He kept on getting up, right? And I think, a lot of the woke mob will try and tell you like, it's toxic masculinity, right? You gotta be like soft and like, bend the knee and kind of just like whimper and cry all the time, right? And sometimes sometimes there is appropriate situations where you do cry, but I feel like at the same time, it's like, I think as men, you gotta be able to stand up and like, face your fears, stand up and like, overcome the difficult things, right? I think that's the most like empowering message you could ever hear, is just like, just to know that you're competent enough to face the dragons, to face the monsters that arise in your path, right? And that's another thing. And in the movies, he takes self-accountability, right? Like even when things aren't going his way, right? He doesn't look at what he can't control. He looks at what he can. He doesn't look at like all the bad things that happen to him. He looks at the things like, okay, what can I control, right? I can control, obviously he's thinking, okay, Apollo died. I'm all alone, right? But he gets back on that training arc, right? Some of you guys got to get on that training arc. You gotta get on that arc and just train. You gotta go through that rocky cutscene, right? And find a way to win, find a way to better your life. And I think that's what the true meaning of being a man is. Just like, you gotta be strong, right? I know society wants to tell us to be weak, but I think you have to be strong, right? And when I say being strong, I'm not saying, right, I feel no pain, I don't have emotions. Like, obviously, of course you have emotions, right? But it's about being able to control your emotions, right? You're not letting your emotions control you. You're not acting out of just you're not overly consumed by them, right? You have the emotional maturity to regulate your emotions and understand logic and be able to combine logic with emotion, right? And be able to, it's really about emotional intelligence at the end of the day, right? And I think that gets lost. It's all the cloudiness. You have the woke mob telling you something else. And then you got guys like Andrew Tate telling you something else, telling you masculinity is about smoking a cigar and driving a Lambo, right? But, I feel like you gotta bring it back to the core and okay, look at back in the days, with ancestors and stuff, these guys, they were disciplined, they were strong, they were motivated. These guys were hardworking. I think that's what true masculinity is about. It's not about neglecting your emotions. No one's telling you to neglect your emotions. You just have to persevere through tough times, right? You have to find the strength to keep on moving forward, right? And you don't have to do it alone, right? That's why men had tribes back in the day to overcome these hardships, as communities. You know what I'm saying? I think we just need to paint masculinity in a more positive light, that it's actually a very empowering thing, And another key about masculinity is about I feel like it's about going your own way and finding your own opinion, right? You gotta find what does it mean to you to be a man, right? You gotta figure out what does it mean to you. You can't just listen to what Tate's saying, you can't listen to what the woke mob is saying. It's about using that, and emotional intelligence to figure out, okay, what does it mean to you, Jordan Peterson said it best, regardless of what you think about him, he says, you gotta be a monster, right? But you gotta be a monster that's under control. I'm paraphrasing. He says, I think he's yeah, you have to be a monster, right? And then learn how to control it, right? The key is saying, be strong, be a masculine man, right? Be strong, but you have to be able to be emotionally intelligent, right? Be able to balance emotion with logic. Don't let your emotions consume you and control you and act like a child and throw tantrums and shit, And by all means, I'm not saying, and I know people always get this so twisted and think, oh, masculinity means it's you disrespect. That's not it's not disrespecting women at all, right? If anything, masculinity, you actually protect women, right? Protect, provide for women, right? That's what true masculinity is about. You know what I'm saying? It's about protecting the people you love and being able to provide for the people you love and being strong, right? And I feel like nowadays that's really controversial to say, but that's just what it is. And yeah, I just wanted to share my opinion on what I think true masculinity is, right? Let me know if you agree with me down below. Let me know if you disagree, agree, whatever you think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, there's nothing landing about playing small. I'll catch you guys next video. See you.